G-L-E-S. I wanted to catch you off guard.
Go Birds!
Carolyn thought we were going to say hi at the same time, but then I switched it up on her.
And why is that, Kate?
Because I made you guys promise last time, and I said if the Eagles win, I'm going to come with Eagles gear again.
And what did they do?
And they won.
Fuck yeah.
And when we were walking in, Carolyn goes, so how did you feel after that win? And I was like, it was boring.
It was a boring show.
I was halftime hit and I was ready to go home.
It was a boring show, except a couple things. Halftime was great. Thought he did a good job. But the booing to Taylor, I didn't like it.
Here's the thing. I think they booed Taylor because people don't like Taylor.
Yeah.
But the excuse that is being made, which is a bit of an issue, is that before Taylor Swift met Travis Kelce, she was very proud of her Pennsylvanian roots. And she would wear Eagles jerseys to her concerts. And now she's with Travis Kelce. But let's be fucking real here. Taylor Swift was never a diehard Eagles fan.
And I feel like she always got resentment from the sports community because she got so much attention when she was at sports games.
And that, exactly.
Which is fucked up because at the Eras tour, when Travis Kelce came out, what did we do? We cheered like crazy.
Support.
That's
because Swifties are
men and women.
Carolyn is saying it right now on record. Swifties are better than sports fans.
I guess, yeah. I don't.
You're like, I don't want to start that rumor.
That sounds very intense, but I think I do mean that.
Well, they're just nice. They make bracelets.
Yeah, I made some.
You did? You tried to tell me you're not a Swiftie girl.
I had surgery. I had nothing else to do.
But it was funny. I saw memes that was like, this Super Bowl is actually Taylor Swift versus Paige DeSorbo, because Paige had been going to the Eagles game. She went to a playoff game and she went to the Super Bowl, technically rooting for the Eagles, because this new dude that she's with,
Joe D'Amelio,
yes, is an Eagles fan, works for the Eagles, something or another. I personally, I want to talk about this right here and now. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about those two. I don't care. Her and Craig broke up at the end of November. It is now the middle of fucking February. And it's like, we know they're together. I'm seeing all these memes of like, Paige spotted in hotel room that looks very similar to Joe's hotel room. No shit. They're obviously hooking up.
Yeah, they're hooking up. And then you could argue more than hooking up. If you're going to public sports events, like literally the most public sports event in America, like you're saying something. But I do agree, it's overdone. It's overkill. They're broken up. She's moved on. Moved on.
I'll be honest with you, that did surprise me. The publicness of it is the only thing that's really surprising me about this Paige thing of like, I knew she would hook up with she's young, she's hot, as she should.
It's fast. It feels fast for her to be like holding hands and going to this, like that's just a different level. I think people are surprised. But also, they broke up way earlier than we thought they broke up.
I understand the backlash, but I don't agree with it.
I don't agree. Let her live.
Who the fuck cares? I'm over it and I'm ready for a new drama.
I will call out the hypocrisy that we're like, who the fuck cares, when we have a podcast about people that we don't know.
That's so true. We obviously care. We care. Okay, but here's the thing. I care about the Paige and Craig breakup and all that drama. And since our last episode, we've heard from Craig. Craig spoke out on Watch What Happens Live. Like, it's a big back and forth between these two. But what I'm saying is, I'm tired of all the memes that are like, Paige was spotted with this guy, because you can tell that she wore this fanny pack in one photo and then he wore the same one in another photo. That's what I'm like, I don't care, because we already know they're a thing.
Well, yeah, we're transitioning from the phase of, oh my God, is this a possibility that she might be doing it with this guy, to, oh, it is.
Like, I've accepted it.
Yeah, now it is. And so we can move on.
Exactly.
I agree. Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's roll with the punches.
I got weirdly heated.
You almost blew out the mic there. Almost.
I did. I know.
Had
Sorry,
to get
everybody's ears. But also, speaking of, the mid-season trailer for Southern Charm came out.
Oh my God.
Did you watch it?
Yes.
It looks fucking good.
Only because of your TikTok, and I was like, wait, what?
Which, another thing, I was like heated. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Because I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
and all my comments were like, girl, they said this. But I didn't know that they picked up cameras.
I didn't know it either.
So at the end of Southern Charm, they picked back up cameras to film the fallout of the Paige and Craig breakup, and allegedly they do the same thing on Summer House.
Well, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. And all my comments were like, girl, do you watch Bravo? Obviously they do this. And I'm like, yes, but like, they did it for Scandival because they had to. They did it for Lindsay and Carl because it was so close after Scandival. And I mean, we did just see an entire season of them hating each other. And we're like, are they really going to get married?
Yeah.
With Paige and Craig, it seemed seemingly like a neutral ass breakup. Like, someone else commented and was like, What, are they going to pick up cameras every time a Real Housewife gets divorced?
True. This was the royal couple, I would argue.
Not to get into fucking logistics of television, but although these are both Bravo shows, they do belong to different production companies.
This is going to be a weird breakup then, because we're going to see it from like certain points of view edited one way, and then other times where they had to talk about it again.
Well, and that's why this is so different than Scandival or Lindsay and Carl, because although these are two people on Bravo, they're two people on different shows, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. We're not getting this information from one show. We're going to have to watch it happen twice from two different POVs. And this is what we said in our last episode, where Southern Charm editors are going to favor Craig, as Summer House editors are going to favor Paige. What is the real one?
What was that quote? There's 4 sides to every story.
Well, the normal quote is there's 3 sides to every story, like yours, mine, and the truth.
Yes.
So that is what it'll be. So yeah, we'll see about that, but
That's loco. Are you going to address the craziness that Girls Unscripted TikTok got from a certain someone, a certain cast mate on a certain show we were just talking about?
So we've, in our history, have had 2 reality stars comment on our videos.
Which, like, we'll take autographs later.
One was a positive comment from Molly O'Connell from Southern Charm. Love you, Molly. Shout out.
Thank you so much. You followed us. We love you.
Other was a negative comment from none other than West Wilson. And it was when all I said was, did you hear that the rumors are West and Brianna Chickenfry are putzing around? And that is literally what I said. And he commented and said, I literally met her once, but okay. But then...
No. He said, I literally met her once, but okay. Thumbs up emoji.
Thumbs up.
Very important.
Ugh. But I couldn't have felt more validated when 3 days after that comment, he and Brianna are both talking about each other on red carpets about how they've made out and blah, blah, blah. It's like, so you're going to come at me. We are a little itty bitty podcast and say we only hung out once, but cool. But then on a red carpet be like, we're hanging out. What is the truth?
Okay.
What is the truth?
I think you had too much coffee today.
I have never once drank coffee on this podcast, and you're absolutely right, because now not only am I hot, but I'm hot.
You're super hot. You're heated.
Here's the thing. I actually was never mad about that comment at all until this very second. I thought it was funny.
You really got swept up in the monologue of it, which I appreciate the dedication.
You're right.
Yeah.
Bring me back.
Bring me.
Reel me in. I just thought that was kind of dumb. I just think it's kind of silly that it's like, no offense to us, we have 1,000 followers on TikTok, and you're gonna comment that.
We'll sign autographs later. Yeah. But I do wonder why he said that, though.
I think he must have heard that there was a lot of talk about it.
They must, because the only way that he can make such a flip is that they had talked about it hey, we want to keep this private, and then they're like, fuck it, whatever, we'll make it public.
By the way, I stand by the fact I think they're a cute couple.
Yeah, I think we said that in the TikTok, or did we?
I didn't clip that.
Fuck, we should send it to him privately.
Yeah. Actually, here's the full clip. Like and subscribe. Feel free to post about us on your story if you're interested. West.
Oh my God, so funny.
Anyways, let's get into this week's Vanderpump Rules episode, shall we?
That was all we needed from me, I think.
If you don't speak that language, then...
It takes a real one.
This was a classic season 2 episode. If you are a big fan of Vanderpump Rules, you'll remember this episode very vividly, because it is when they go to Lake Arrowhead, to Stassi's mom's house. Have you been to Lake Arrowhead? So
I said on this podcast last time that I had. I'm not sure. I might have just been to Big Bear. It's around there, right?
Yes. Yeah, so if you're, a lot of these Bravo shows, they also go to Big Bear. I know the Real Housewives go there. Basically, when you're driving up the mountain, you essentially hit a fork in the road. If you go left, you go to Arrowhead. Right, you go to Big Bear. But you've probably only been to Big Bear, and here's why. Lake Arrowhead is a private lake. You cannot, you can go, you can rent a house there, do whatever you want, but they don't have boat rentals. They don't have paddleboard rentals. One time I was camping in Lake Arrowhead and then drove 45 minutes to Big Bear to rent a boat and then went back to Lake Arrowhead. So it's a gorgeous, gorgeous town.
Yeah.
But you can't really do much if you don't have a house there.
Yeah.
Both no water sports.
Big Bear and Arrowhead are the places to rent houses. I think that's when I went to Big Bear for New Year's Eve. Someone rented a house and we went up there.
Okay. It's also really tough to get up there when it's fucking winter
Oh my God.
I
It
just got stranded in Arrowhead actually in December. I was going to Big Bear and it was snowing so bad we had to detour to Arrowhead.
No.
It was fine though.
But you survived to tell the tale.
I got a margarita at a hotel.
Oh, that's so great. You know who else drinks a lot of margaritas?
Miss Dana.
Miss Dana.
Stassi's mom, Dana.
You picked up on it. Oh, I'm so glad.
All right, so let's go from beginning to end. So the first scene of this episode is at Sir, and we see Danny helping out Lisa, and they're just, gabbing a little bit. Did you know that girl, Danny, is the one that got Lala Kent the job at Sir?
Oh,
yeah. So
fun fact, I did not know that.
We see her a couple times throughout the series. She got Lala her job, and basically Jax is just there. He pops in to let Lisa know, by the way, I'm going to Lake Arrowhead to win Stassi back.
Yeah, that's it.
Moving on. We go to Katie and Tom's apartment, and you guys are going to be so proud of me because I can honestly say for a fact, I know that this apartment is in West Hollywood.
Yeah, it is.
I know exactly where it is.
Yeah,
you know exactly where it is
I could
too.
tell where the buildings were.
That parking garage, actually, there's a parking garage at the end of the street that I love bringing it all full circle, and the gabbers are going to be like, bitch, get to the point. But there's a parking garage at the end of the road that I parked in, walked to La Boheme, met with you, and when we were like, we should start a podcast, I parked in that very parking garage.
Oh my God, I didn't know you could park there for La Boheme.
Well, I mean, you have to pay for it.
It's just sorry. I always park on the road for La Boheme. Okay, anyways. So yes, it is in West Hollywood. Do you feel better, Catherine?
I feel better at least knowing someone's telling the truth.
We then enter a clown car. We are in a clown car with Jax, Stassi, Kristen, Sandoval, and Katie. Very packed. Mm-hmm. I loved everything about this scene.
Even from the fact that Sandoval was sitting in the middle seat.
Made it even better. Mm-hmm. +1. End to end, I was dying.
So they're on their way to Lake Arrowhead, and Tom is completely bitching about Kristen. As if Kristen wasn't sitting right next to him. Now, although she does have headphones in.
Well, but she's doing the moody teenager thing of like, I'm not listening.
And she's like looking out the window,
I'm not doing it.
pretending like she's in a music video.
We all did it.
So he's bitching about Kristen right next to Kristen. She's ignoring him. Stassi and Tom then get into a huge argument about him and Kristen. And again, Kristen doesn't say a word.
Have they done, and spoiler alert for you guys, has Kristen slept with Jax yet in real time?
As far as I know, yes, they slept together in between season 1 and 2 of Vanderpump.
Okay, and by this point, Tom and Ariana have rumored to have been together with relations of some sort. I guess they do that next episode, whatever. That back row is the craziest back row I have ever seen, if all that is true, because Tom, Sandoval, and Kristen are fighting about face wipes, and Stassi starts a monologue about what they're actually fighting about, which is about her and Jax fighting. Meanwhile, in the back row, we have Kristen, Tom, and Jax sitting together, which by this point, spoiler alert, Kristen, Stassi's best friend, has already slept with Jax, Tom's best friend, and Stassi's ex, while Tom has likely slept with Ariana, the new Sir server. It's a clown car.
And that's not even mentioning all the people that they have cheated on their significant others with that aren't even on the show.
Yeah, this is what we know from the limited snippet of their lives.
Yeah, that's a mess.
I feel like if you need a snapshot to show someone like how messy Vanderpump Rules is, that backseat.
It's that backseat. You need to wear a condom just to sit in that backseat.
Oh God, it's filthy. It's disgusting.
Yeah, wow. And it's so funny because as I'm writing notes, I'm on the same page as you, Carolyn, of like, Kristen and Tom are bitching, but then I'm like, but you fuck Jax. Like, and I'll say that as we go, but it's like, it's so hard to take anything seriously knowing what we already know. But.
And let me tell you, as a point counter, I am making a change in that I used to do it where points were only given from assuming we don't know anything about the future from where they are.
Okay.
I feel like it does it injustice because we have the knowledge and information of future stuff. I think they should be knocked for it now. So, for example, that back seat, there were a lot of points.
Look, I'm down with that. Like that's going to be a lot of women in STEM. That's going to be a lot of thinking, girl. So for those who don't know, too, the drive from like West Hollywood to Lake Arrowhead, if there's no traffic, it would probably be around 2 hours. So it's not like a quick quick ride. Like, they're in that car together for a while, but they finally arrive. They're at the beach. Jax reveals his tattoo, and Stassi loves it.
That is literally what I wrote about. Stassi loves it, period.
She's acting like he just proposed.
Yeah, she's like,
oh my God.
I don't even know. This is like the first time. Yeah.
It's crazy. And Kristen and Katie are kind of like smiling and eating it up. And I kind of forgot that they root for Jax.
Right. And in this scene, they talk about, they mention something of what Jax did. And Stassi's like, I didn't think you were like that. Or I forget what the context was. But Kristen, in defense of Jax, goes, he's not the same guy he was a year ago. At this point, she has fucked Jax within that year she's defending Jax for. And what is happening here? And they're all best friends.
He's not the same guy he was a year ago because he did cheat on you with me, but he didn't do it again. Actually, he actually did do it twice.
It was during Drive.
And it was, I mean, if you've ever seen Drive, that's a horny movie. I've famously never seen Drive.
I have.
We should watch Drive and try to figure out at what point in the movie they decided to hook up.
Yeah. What?
And then come back and see if we have the same response.
I don't think we should do that. That sounds a little like touchy. Like our husbands involved? Like,
no, Carolyn, what the fuck? We, just ourselves, should watch Drive and try to figure out at what point in the movie Kristen and Jax decided this is the right time to fuck.
You were saying then we should do what they do.
Well, hey, I'm not going to judge what you guys do behind closed doors, but I'm not saying you don't need to bring that to the podcast unless you want to. Well, trust me, I'll be all ears if that's the case. I'm sure our gabbers would be interested as well.
Oh my God.
But that's going to be something they're going to need to pay for.
That would be crazy. If we had a secret love affair, this podcast would go viral. Maybe we should do it just for the drama.
We'll do anything for a little clout. You hear that, West Wilson? Anything. Okay, they get to Stassi. Speaking of someone that will do anything for a little airtime, we get to Stassi's mom's house, which, by the way, fucking gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. I wrote here we meet Stassi's sorority sister.
Exactly.
It could be.
Exactly. They are more sisters than friends. And it's funny because we see Stassi's mom throughout the series and she becomes a bit much.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember when I first...
You don't think this was a bit much this episode?
Well, I thought it was a bit much, but I feel like Stassi was into it. Like, I think, like, in here when Stassi was younger, I think she liked having, like, the cool mom. This is, like, very, like, Regina George mom. Of, like, I'm going to drink with you, and we're going to party. But then I think as Stassi got older, her mom never outgrew that, and then she became embarrassed by it.
Yeah, and I think Stassi matured maybe past her mom
100%.
and it created like an interesting dynamic between the two.
Oh, 100%. I wrote down that Stassi's mom loves to gossip and she likes to have a margarita and gab.
It is crazy. Like, she's also inspirational. Like, for a woman, I mean, how old was she in this? Oh, so she looks very, very
She
young.
just looks young, yeah.
But if she can drink like that,
wow.
It's beautiful.
Is it inspirational or is it problematic?
It can be an and.
Sometimes I will say I see people rip shots on TV and I'm like, I wish I could still do that.
I wish I could.
Yeah.
You and I should do shots together and film it.
Remember we did a shot on this podcast one time?
We did.
Yeah.
Was that our first one?
I think we've only ever done it one time. That was back when we used to record at nightham though. Now we record in the mornings. And when we first started this podcast, we were drinking.
Hey, I'm not against it. That's all I'm saying. 213, who doesn't need a good...
Yeah, sure. But to be honest, though, I think I got more wild taking a couple sips of that coffee than I ever did taking a shot.
I agree. I +1 that.
Yeah,
so
that's going to be the last time you see me sip that. Okay, but something else that was revealed in this scene is that Stassi and Jax had that big blowout fight at dinner the night before this. She said to her mom, Jax and I went out to dinner last night and we got in a fight. You guys were crying, fighting with each other, and now the next day you're going to Arrowhead together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's that. And that's 2013.
I mean, what were they gonna do? If this
it was probably already planned.
planned.
Yeah. It's just as crazy to me that like
it's a show.
They are so back and forth with each other that it's like I don't know.
No, the whole I wouldn't be surprised if like the whole season of Vanderpump Rules happened within 3 days.
honestly.
Like morning, noon, night, all of it.
We do a quick scene at Sir. Their wine tasting, Lisa, Natalie, and Peter.
She doesn't want the screw top version.
And you know what? Don't blame her. Snooze. Moving on. We're back at Stassi's mom's house. Stassi's mom asks Jax to talk. And then Jax says, okay, and pours them both shots of tequila. You know what?
Legend.
Which shows to me, by the way, That's not the first, second, or third time they've ripped shots at tequila together.
Yeah. Oh no.
It was
absolutely
like
not.
second nature.
Yeah.
You know? But I couldn't help but think that like Stassi's mom and Jax look more like they could be dating than Stassi and Jax.
Jax would fuck Dana real hard.
I would not. I would. You know what? I'm not even going to start rumors.
Don't do it.
I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised.
Don't do
But
it.
just like when I saw Jax and Stassi's dad talking, I'm like, they look the same age. Like Jax looks old enough and Stassi's mom looks young enough for them to be hooking up.
Okay, well, let's think about it. If Stassi's mom, I mean, she couldn't have been older than what?
She was probably in her 40s.
42 or something. Jax was what, 35?
Yeah, actually,
So
there's a world where Jax is
they're
closer in age.
totally within dating range of each other, especially in LA age, you know?
And you know he's thought about it.
Oh, for sure. Because he's apparently watched every type of porn there is.
Yeah, we get into that next episode. So basically, Stassi's mom makes Jax admit all the shitty things he's done to Stassi, which good for her. I'm glad that she did that for her daughter.
I feel like this conversation was pointless. Like, it went nowhere.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I was reading between the lines. It's like her family fucking loves Jax, and her mom had to have this talk with him to like make it look good, but they like him. They want him around.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Do they?
I think so.
I know they liked him, but the dad and the mom seemed upset. No?
Sure, but
Or was that just for show?
let me say this. When I found out my sorry ass ex-boyfriend was a cheater,
Time out real quick. I'm no offense to you, but this turned out to be a big blessing for us because we have this reference point for this podcast.
that we use quite a bit.
Like, you took one for the team, and I want to thank you for it.
I didn't even know that the 2 years after this happened, I would be making a podcast literally about cheaters. And here we are. All I'm saying is when I told my parents about what he did, there is no way in hell they would talk to him.
Yeah.
My dad would not be getting lunch with him. My mom would not be housing him in her house. And he didn't even get another woman pregnant
Yeah.
that I know of.
Yeah.
He could have kids, I don't know. But all I'm saying is like they have to like Jax a little bit in order
For him to even be in the picture.
for
I
him
understand
to
that.
even be in the picture. Or her parents are just way too fucking forgiving, which could also be.
Or they're
ridiculous.
just good time gals. I mean, she ends this by saying, I need another shot. I'm ready to go out.
Oh, yeah, she was already
Living
fucking
legend.
yeah. But also in the scene, she asks Jax like why he loves Stassi, and he like can't answer. He
Literally has no idea.
He just is like, oh, she's my best friend. We mesh. Like, there's no real reason other than basically she puts up with me.
Or it's like a conquest for me, and I want to get her back to prove I can.
Oh, yeah. The second he gets her back, he's just going to cheat on her. Then they go back to Sir, and Peter, I fucking loved this scene. It was so quick. But Peter reveals to Lisa that Sheena is getting on the other waitress's nerves because she's always hurt. And they think that Lisa babies her. And of course, Lisa denies it. I don't baby Sheena. But did we not just see last episode? Not only did Sheena have a birthday party at your house, Lisa, but you also paid for the dress she was wearing. You obviously have favor her.
Also, Lisa is a producer on the show and literally created this scene because she needed some context for her to go and incite more drama from Sheena by telling her to not be dramatic.
And that's the fact. And that's really reading between the lines.
Boom. Suck it.
Then we go back to Arrowhead, and we are at a Mexican restaurant called Papagayos. Looked it up, still open.
Nice.
Good for them.
Great.
They're partying with Stassi's mom at the bar. Okay. I hate to be on Team Sandoval ever in life, but this episode.
Okay, I wrote the same thing. Sorry, I hit you with my computer.
It's okay.
I wrote the same thing. I was like, I almost feel bad for him here.
I did feel bad for him in this episode.
Like, he was whipped.
Now, granted, I think he was a shitty fucking boyfriend
Agreed.
and a piece of shit. And I think Kristen had just had enough and she just hated him. They hate each other. They bicker, but they don't want to break up. So it's like, I don't think that her acting this way is unwarranted, but she was being so mean to him.
She does, like, as he said, she does flinch when he comes around. Like,
Yeah.
it is as if she is repulsed by him.
So he briefly mentions that he bought a pair of steampunk sunglasses, and she's just like pissed off at this. She's like, you just bought them. You've never even worn them yet. You don't act like you like wear them all the time. You just bought them. And even me, I'm like, Kristen, he didn't even say
I know.
anything.
I was like, I wrote down, Kristen gets aggravated with Tom for, I'm not even exactly sure because he hasn't worn glasses. Like, I couldn't even follow what she was saying.
No idea. Jax then decides he needs to have a friend-to-friend talk with Sandoval because this is just getting out of hand. And Sandoval, your girlfriend treats you so poorly, ... And this is after I fucked her.
Yes, exactly.
And this is after I've already fucked said girlfriend of yours. Imagine getting relationship advice from your best friend that's already fucked your girlfriend behind your back.
Jax tells Sandoval to break up with Kristen, which is weird because Jax has slept with Kristen by this point. And then the girls tell Kristen to break up with Tom, and she says she doesn't want to, which is also weird because Kristen has slept with Jax by this point. So there's a lot going on.
Also, not to mention, you guys fucking hate each other. I don't get it.
Yeah. When you were younger, did you have relationships where you like felt toxic energy?
Totally. I've had relationships where I've tried to break up with a person. They're like, no, I'll change. I've also had relationships similar to Kristen and Tom's where we were older. He was 30, I was 28. And it was like, well, we've been dating for 6 years. This is how it is.
Yeah. Well,
and you're afraid to break up because even though you can't necessarily see your life with this person, you've already planned your life with this person. Like, and it's hard to fathom restarting.
Yeah. It's restarting everything when you like had it all before you. I also feel like when I was younger, would be in relationships and just find any reason to fight. Any reason. Like I felt like Kristen here. Yeah. And looking back, it was like my own insecurities, my own whatever. But I remember just being like, you looked at a lamp. Yeah. Or like I wasn't a jealous person, but I would make them feel bad, I feel.
No, yeah. And if you guys aren't even fucking, then like what's the point?
Literally, what are you getting out of this?
Yeah. I guess maybe they're like trying to secure their spot on the show. I don't fucking know.
I went through one bad relationship, and producer Rachel, she asked me, like, no judgment, but what are you getting from this? Because we also weren't being intimate. I was hating my life. I hated myself. I was being isolated by my friends. And it was like, oh shit, not a thing. Yeah. Then you got to move on.
Yeah, it's tough. All right. So then I also loved this scene because it did remind me of just like being young. They go back to Stassi's mom's house after the bar. Everyone's drunk. The girls are taking off their makeup. They're peeing with the door open. Yeah,
that was fun. That was really nostalgic.
In this case, Kristen is on another fucking level. I will say Sandoval was gently strumming his guitar because let's not forget, the only reason they're in Arrowhead is because he has a big show tomorrow.
Yeah.
And this pisses Kristen off.
And like, it's sad. The guitar was literally unplugged.
It was unplugged. It was so quiet. And Kristen's acting so concerned. She's like, well, you know, like we just were at her parents' house, Tom.
Yeah.
Which Dana has ripped so many fucking shots. She's passed out on the couch somewhere. She's not waking up.
Well, and then she's like, we don't even kiss to go to bed. Like, it's just weird.
Oh my God, yes.
Acting is like, oh, this is just so awkward and weird.
Wait, I did clock this in the scene. I think Sandoval is, understatement of the fucking year. He's playing up for the camera, right? I think if the camera wasn't on, he would have fought back with Kristen in that moment. But he was just like, I'm sorry, babe. You're right. Goes to try to kiss her. She acts like he's pepper spraying her in the face. She like, ew, Tom, I'm sorry. I just can't. We don't kiss to go to bed.
Yeah, as if he put a scorpion down her britches.
Literally. Like, so she is just so disgusted. Just fucking break up with him.
I guess that is the question of this episode. Are we being fooled by Tom and his reactions? Or are we believing that what he is going through sucks? Or is it just both?
Okay, let me get deep here for a second. I think there's both. I think Tom wants to look good and he wants to be a beloved star on Bravo. So he's doing the most. But I think he does really shitty things behind closed doors and he's obviously outwardly cheated on Kristen already. I think Kristen isn't holding anything back and wants the world to know that she hates Tom so that if
she gets caught fucking Jax Taylor,
it doesn't look as bad because then she could say like, well, Tom and I weren't even really together.
Oh God.
That's what I think.
Which sucks because like Tom's doing the same thing on the other side. So do you think his tears were genuine? I know I'm skipping ahead here. But
now here's the thing. I actually do think, so later on in the episode he cries. With Kristen, she can make that man cry. And I clocked that in that scene where he cries. I saw real tears. And remember they were away for Sheena's bachelorette party. And he's sobbing to Kristen at the table. Like, although I think they fucking hate each other.
Which is crazy because Jax and Stassi do that too.
There's a reason that they're still together. And I do think there was real love there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's complicated.
Last one. Do you think Kristen is to Sandoval as Stassi is to Jax? Because we've talked on this where we think Stassi was the one who got away for Jax forever.
No.
I don't. I would say no.
I don't. but I think they probably went through a lot together.
There were similar themes.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that we'll be here forever.
Yeah,
I can't.
okay.
There should be a whole separate episode
Yeah.
of like dissecting the interpersonal relationships, like not just on surface, but like why do Tom and Kristen stay together for so long? Why does Stassi keep Jax in her life? Like we really could talk about that.
We could create a college course.
Totally. Oh, and then real quick, the end of this scene, Tom says, you know what? I'm actually going to give her a piece of my mind. So he goes and he confronts the girl and he says, you know what, Kristen, we actually do kiss. But what I loved about this little part is this is the first real glimpse of hatred that Katie has for Sandoval. And they are fighting.
Yeah, this is real.
And they still fight like that to this day.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I love consistency.
It's nice to see that like each of them, who they are at their core, does shine through.
Yeah, totally.
And just continues to get brighter as they get older.
I was thinking of like when Schwartz told Sandoval one season, like, was like, Katie views you as a brother. I'm like, yeah, a brother she fucking hates.
A step brother from like
that she never wanted.
Literally.
All right, now we're at the morning after Stassi's mom's house. Another iconic scene of Jax playing video games with Nikolai, who is
you skipped.
Oh, did I?
You just skipped a brief one of Stassi and Dana, with Dana just saying it's time for you to make a decision. You can't just do this.
Oh, yeah. They definitely told Stassi's mom, like, we're going to need you to move this narrative along a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
We need like an outside
It needs
source.
some lubrication.
Okay, so then we see Jax and Nikolai playing video games.
Jax gets schooled in wisdom by an 8-year-old.
So this kid is 8 years old. He's like 20 now, which is so crazy.
He's like Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah. He says, and I quote, like he had amazing advice. He says, you should tell Stassi I want to make you happy and not be mean to you anymore, and I won't be drunk and stupid. And then he says, you cheated on her and you just can't cheat on her. Don't cheat. You have to be in love with one girl. Be mature. Unfortunately, this 8-year-old's brain was just like working at a bit of a higher level than Jax's like 36-year-old brain, because although Jax is nodding his head and listening, it's going in one ear and out the other.
I think it's over my brain. Like I would hire this guy as my sensei. I would hire him as my sensei and then like market the fuck out. Like, Tyler, the Hollywood medium.
Yes.
I would have Nikolai, the Hollywood kid sensei.
Relationship coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Nikolai, the relationship coach. Well, it's just so funny because it's like what he is saying is so fucking basic, but that's exactly what Jax needs to hear.
It's so fucking basic, but also wise. And we see it throughout. Even when he gets older, he's still way wiser than his years. This little Nikolai kid.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
Okay, so then we have another brief little stint at CERN.
Christina Kelly and Lisa talk because Sheena can't work with her eye situation.
It is not her leg. It is not her tooth. It's her eye now. And Christina Kelly has just had enough of it. And it reminds me of our good friend who we mention on our podcast all the time, Johnny Langan.
Woo!
Told us, and I need to look more into this, but apparently, because as I'm watching, I'm like, Christina Kelly is a bitch. Every time she is on screen, she is bringing fucking catty ass drama. And I mean that as a compliment. And Johnny told us that apparently she was originally supposed to be like the Stassi.
Yeah.
And at this time, she was the queen bee of the show. But she had a boyfriend who refused to film. So she couldn't be the lead of the show, which, if you think about it, does kind of make sense because Jax didn't work at SUR before the show came about. Stassi got him the job so he could be on the show. So like, I mean, I'm sure that's what they would want to do with Christina Kelly.
I don't hate it. When she is giving her venom, she like moves her head like a 90s film. Did you notice that? She literally does it back and forth.
She's fucking terrifying.
It's
and
so
I
scary.
I think I'm in love with her.
Yeah.
My God. Now we're back in Lake Arrowhead. They're at like lunch, breakfast, whatever. Schwartz and Peter arrive on a fucking trolley, tram, car.
Hello.
I don't know. It was weird. It was cute though. And Kristen is still just coming at Tom. And she's like, you need to apologize in front of everyone for being a dick last night. Which granted, Tom did burst into the room and was like yelling at everyone. And I didn't necessarily think she was wrong to say you should apologize to everyone.
Yeah.
But it was the way, like he is so belittled by her.
Well, yeah, and she said something and he expressed his feelings on something. She retorted back and he was just like, oh, I know. And just like coiled into himself of like shame. And I was like, I'm sad for this guy.
He does look like a dog that's being yelled at. But I also can't help but think like, are you playing the victim?
Again, I think it's an and, but those tears felt real.
Well, and that's the thing. So Tom starts forcing out tears, but I will say he's better at it back then than he is now, because at least there's actual tears, as opposed to when all this shit happened with Scandival, we never saw one tear.
Yeah, no, this proves that his tear ducts work.
Like, he does have tear ducts. Yeah, he can cry.
Yeah, it can happen.
And Kristen does know how to make this man cry. Stassi says, when I saw Tom tearing up, I just wanted to laugh. It's so funny. So yeah, they get in a little fight, which again, I'm sorry, but like, love him or hate him. If you're Kristen, like, even if you hate Sandoval, he is about to have a huge show.
You say that as if there's like a big portion of people who love him.
Well,
sorry, continue.
No, like Kristen.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, if whether you love him or you hate him in that moment, he has a huge show later that day. Let's maybe like not make him cry at breakfast.
Yeah.
He has like just wait and talk. If he's really pissing you off, talk to him about it afterwards. They're crazy.
Well, we're talking about Kristen.
I know.
That ain't gonna happen, girlfriend.
You're absolutely right.
But he did. I will say, Tom gets a lot of shit for how unfunny he is. I did laugh at Schwartz saying a 10-year-old boy called and he wants his butt back, and Sandoval said, he said I could have it, we had a deal. I was like, good one. I would have laughed in the moment.
They do little like quips throughout like these beginning seasons that I like. You get to kind of see their personality and you understand like why they are.
Yeah, but
friends.
normally Sandovals are like so bad, but sometimes he has some zingers. And
well, because like right before that, when he was like, Ashton Kutcher God, he wants his hat back. It's like, dog, that is a tired ass.
That's how
joke.
he normally is. Yeah.
They do a really quick scene of Stassi and Jax having a moment.
Oh, I didn't tell you this. So every time, from the point that Stassi gets shown the tattoo, every time Jax brings up the tattoo or Stassi brings up the tattoo, you know what they're getting.
Oh, no.
They're going on the sheet.
I love it. Well, it is. It's like, oh my God. And then this scene, she tells Jax she wants him to get her vagina tattooed on him.
Well, again, like their attempt at humor, which take it or leave it. That's what we're working with.
And it's all what can we do?
And then Jax
you can't be hot and funny.
Yeah, you can't be.
Yeah, you just can't. It's not possible.
We're kidding, Stassi. You're actually really fucking hilarious. I know she's listening.
She's a gabber. We're back at Sir. Sheena shows up to work in glasses.
They are so big.
They're the biggest things. They literally magnify her eyebrows.
Her eyes, she looks like an alien.
And I know people wore big glasses back then, but not quite like this.
It's so disproportionate. It's so bizarre looking. I love it.
Because not only that, like Sheena has big eyes, but they actually make her eyes look smaller. It is disproportionate. It's the only word to say. You're absolutely right.
Oh my God.
And Lisa basically just tells Sheena to stop playing the victim.
Which is hilarious here. Lisa tells Sheena to tone down the drama to incite more drama because she tells Sheena to make this restaurant her restaurant. Well, so you're telling her to start drama.
Yeah, it's exactly what's happening. By you saying all the girls think you're playing the victim, it's just going to, again, start more drama. Also, have you met Sheena? She's going to be playing the victim up until season 11. Up until they get a reboot. Okay?
My lifelong fear is that I'm the Sheena.
I can promise you you're not.
People think
your ailments
I'm
are real. You do have similar ailments, like I said, but
I don't know. I have the foot and the back. She hasn't had back yet. Prayers. Woo. Teeth.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You're not like, why isn't everybody talking about
It's
this?
true. It does sound like she talks about it an unusual amount of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
I'm
very
just telling you my fears, my nightmares at night.
Don't worry, you're not a Sheena.
Thank you.
So now we're at Tom's big show in Arrowhead. He's with his band, Pierce the Arrow. So moody. All I could think is and this is not a compliment or an insult, it's just an observation. If you showed me a picture of them and said, what year was this band a band, I would immediately say 2013. Like they could not look more 2013. Faux hawks, leather, tight white shirts. Like it's very like plain white tees, like that vibe.
Oh,
you know?
Interesting. I thought you were gonna go with like early 2000s. I'm thinking like Dashboard Confessional, like.
But they're not quite as emo.
Not as emo.
In my opinion.
But there's a splash of emo. You gotta admit that.
There's a splash of emo. It's like, but with a splash of pop punk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll be honest. They were pretty good.
They were pretty good.
Tom, when he isn't trying to be someone he's not, like he's good at guitar. Mm-hmm. He wasn't the lead singer. I enjoyed that show. I even enjoyed, I enjoyed watching it. I even enjoyed the touch in public thing that he did with that other guy. I thought that was a good song.
We've talked about that on this podcast.
Talked about this.
Yeah.
I don't want, he should not be center stage. He needs to share the stage to be enjoyable.
There are some people that are just, it's their lot in life to be the main character. And that's what he feels was assigned to him.
Yeah, well.
He's living his purpose. I also, no offense to Martha Davis and the Motels.
Never heard of him.
This gig couldn't get any bigger. This could change their lives.
Never heard of them. Never heard of the song. Never seen that woman before in my life. And I love 80s music.
Wait, okay. I wrote Pierce Sarah opens for Martha Davis and the Motels, and Kristen gets sopping wet.
Oh. Okay, well, that's the thing, by the way, Carolyn. I am so confused by this switch that all of a sudden she sees Tom on stage with the guitar, which, bitch, what the fuck did you think you were there for? You knew he was going to be on stage with the guitar, and she says, I wouldn't trade this for what they have. Like, she's like, that's my boyfriend
and she's,
up there.
With her saying that, she's acting as if it's a full stadium crowd. She is the only one.
She's the only person
in the mosh pit with her rock hands, by the way.
And
talk about 2013. Like,
and here's the thing.
This.
If you're just listening and you didn't do a rewatch, let me paint the picture for you. It's giving State Fair. It's probably 2 p.m.
It's giving a small town local state
right. They like just did the pig races.
Sun's still up.
Yeah. The kids are on rides. The parents are in the beer garden while the kids are on rides, and they're just like listening to this fucking band.
And there is no one in the mosh pit except one person, and her name is Kristen Doty.
But you know what? I do hope that if anything, Miss Martha got some good publicity from this, and it seems like she brought Tom and Kristen together.
It does.
So,
yeah.
Thank you, Martha Davis.
Yeah. But, oh my God, there's another thing this scene that drove me crazy with Stassi talking about Kristen and Tom and saying, they fight so much, but at some point, enough is enough.
Yeah, well, Stassi thinks she's better because she can keep saying, well, I broke up with him.
LOL.
Yeah.
Lol.
They all live in a fucking different dimension.
We end at Stassi's mom's house.
We end at Stassi's mom's house. Jax and Stassi are getting along, and they're flirting a little bit, and then
oh God, this scene was I loved this scene too because you can tell it's a really tiny room.
Oh yeah.
So it was them on the bed, and like a camera guy must have just been like,
it's like them, a camera guy, a sound guy, and a producer
all squeezed in this room as Jax is like begging for Stassi to give him a hug.
Begging.
Or
It was
kiss.
no, Carolyn. It was giving like, you know, those dudes that are like, where's my hug?
Yeah.
Like it was giving like a where's my hug guy. Like, come on, girl, where's my hug? Where's my hug? Come on. And you like reluctantly like give them a hug, but you really don't want to. Like that was it. Like he was doing his best at asking for consent.
Yes. But that's what it looks like to say no. Well, no, then she said yes.
She said yes.
So that's actually
kissed.
what it seems like when they say yes. But you know what he did before that to get the kiss? Brought up the tattoo. Boom. Gotcha.
Oh, that's yeah. Yeah. And you know what's funny to me is Stassi will be like, Jax is going to bring this up forever and use it against me, but it works.
Yeah.
You know what he's going to do, but it works.
And she sees it happening to her, but it works.
Yeah. Anyways. That's the ep.
What
Tell
an
us what.
episode.
Carolyn, I have a feeling now that you switched up the point system,
yeah,
things are going to get
I was just
high.
like, you know what? I think this will be better and more accurate because these are the real crimes, you know, if we're going back. So season 2, oh God, okay, real quick. Tom fights in the car with Kristen. Oh, this is going back to recapping who fought with who. Tom fights in the car with Kristen when he is hooked up with Ariana. 2, Kristen fights in the car with Tom when she is hooked up with Jax. 2, only because like we kind of know this, but
right.
Not like whatever. Jax is sitting dead ass next to them when he is hooked up with Kristen. 2, Sandoval says he couldn't play at any bigger gig than a small town theater from Martha Davis and the Motels. 1, Kristen
wow,
says,
you're giving him a point for his delusion?
I literally wrote delusion point.
Wow, okay. You wrote delusion point?
Yeah.
That's wild. It is a bit of a delusion.
It's just a delusion point, but I love delusion points. Tom has a lot of them. Kristen says Jax isn't the cheating person he was a year ago when she has slept with him within that year. Oh, I gave her a 3. I was harsh here.
Well, I mean, it is weird for her to be speaking so publicly, like positively about Jax to Stassi when she fucked Jax.
Yeah, it's just
and is
so
lying.
it's so audacious.
Yeah.
It's out of her way to do an audacious lie.
No,
It was
I
so
agree.
conspicuous. Okay, here we go. Stassi brings up the tattoo. 1. Jax brings up the tattoo. 1. Jax brings up the tattoo again. 1. Kristen yells at Tom for breathing. 1. Kristen refuses to break up with Tom. 1. Tom refuses to break up with Kristen. 1. Tom and Kristen get into a weird fight about his guitar and giving a kiss goodnight. 2 and 2. Jax gets schooled in wisdom by an 8-year-old. 1. Tom and Kristen fight at lunch, resulting in tears. 1 and 1. Jax brings up the tattoo. 1. Stassi brings up the tattoo. 1. Sheena's being dramatic about her injuries. 1. Kristen suddenly loves Tom when he's on stage with a guitar. 1.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Stassi brings up the tattoo. 1. Jax brings up the tattoo.
They brought up
1.
the tattoo this many times?
Stassi has the audacity to say she's tired of Kristen and Tom fighting, and at some point they need to move on. 1. Whew. It was a busy episode.
Wow.
You want to hear the totals?
I need to hear the totals.
So interestingly enough, Stassi 3, low here, lower than I thought she'd be, but she didn't do it really. She wasn't the focus of this episode as much. Well, a little bit. Anyways.
No, it wasn't. She wasn't the focus of the drama.
Jax 7. Makes sense. Sheena 1, but really she wasn't really
She
there.
wasn't in it, yeah.
Kristen 11. So this is when we're starting to get.
She deserves that.
She's about to get into a stride here.
Yeah.
Sandoval 7. Everyone else 0. Running totals will be Stassi at 9, Jax at 13, Sheena at 11, Kristen at 15, Sandoval at 15, Schwartz 2, Katie 2.
No, that makes complete sense to me for season 2.
Yeah, it's
Kristen is going to keep going up.
Yeah, she's a
Jax.
strong horse to bet on. Do you think she'll win this season?
Yes. Yes. It'll be close between her and Jax, but yes.
Especially now with the new ruling.
Because Jax is trying his best to win Stassi back while Kristen is like just self-imploding.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, those are the points, people.
Damn. Oh, God. I just feel like every episode is good. Every episode is good.
so good. And you know what's going to be great next episode?
No. Damn fucking right. And lastly, as always, we just want to thank you guys for being such amazing listeners and gabbers, and you make this all worth it.
All fucking worth it. Do all the things like subscribe, comments are helpful, rate. We love you guys. We love you so much.
I also want to give a shout out to, I believe your name is Naya. Your handle is Princess Naya MH, and you DM'd us and you said like the cutest thing. You said that when you finish your classes on your heaviest course day, you get a chocolate milkshake and you go to this building with a giant window and sit on a bench and listen to our Vanderpump Rules recaps. And I sent that to Carolyn and we cried and screamed with joy.
I literally teared up.
No, it was so sweet. And we love getting messages of people being like, I love listening to your like recaps and your podcast, and like this is what I do when I listen to them, because it's like it is not that we ever get discouraged, but it is easy to get discouraged, and it is a lot of work to put on a podcast. So like when we get these kind messages from you guys, it seriously means more
It's like,
than you could know.
someone's listening.
Yeah,
So sweet.
So thank you.
Thank you. We love you.
And we'll see you guys next episode.
Bye.